listening to Back to the Roots podcast. I'm Mike Klein, and today I want to bring a new segment to you listeners. It is called Regional Farmer Updates that we will be releasing once a month, and it is featuring 4 farmers from across the United States to talk about their region, weather, grass, cropping, whatever's going on in their regions. So this week I would like to introduce 4 farmers. First one is Sam Dobson in North Carolina, Thomas Heckman in Ohio, John Eim in Wisconsin, and Jon Bansen in Oregon. I hope you enjoy their updates. Thanks for listening.
This is Thomas Heckman from Yorkshire, Ohio, which is in west central Ohio, Dark Mercer County. Farm there with my wife. I got 4 kids, 5th generation on our dairy farm. My dad's still involved. He's semi-retired. We milk 80 cows, ship our milk to Organic Valley Crop Cooperative. Been with them since 2009. It's been a good deal. We farm, we got about 350 acres, and raise all of our own crops, all of our own feed. So it's been a good deal. So weather for the past couple weeks here in Ohio, it's been crazy Ohio weather for the spring, up and down. We've had 70-degree days for T-shirts. It's been great to get work done outside. And the last couple of days we've had freezing in the 28 degrees. So it's been, we've had wet for the last 2.5 years. It's been very wet in Ohio here. Tough years. Our hay crop's been tough. But here we've been drying out, and I think we could be grazing, getting cows out and working ground here. Today they got some storms coming. If we miss them, I think we can start working. So that's a positive. We haven't done anything in April for a while. We haven't done any field work yet. I put some clover on some triticale ground that we had fall planted triticale in that I plan to combine this year to get the straw and some grain. So we put some red clover on, just spread that with a seeder. It's coming, so we're hoping no frost will hit that too hard. And other than that, we did no-till some grass 2 weeks ago, some grass and some clover and some oats into our pasture to thicken them up. It was barely fit. It worked, but I think we got a heavy rain, 1.5 inches of rain right after that next day, and I think some of that oats is rotten. So we'll see if the grass and clover comes. So ground's getting close. We have 100 acres of oats we want to put out because it's all of our hay's junk from all the rain. So get some alfalfa started, and the ground, it's all fall worked. So hit it with field cultivator and collar mulcher and plant it. So it's getting close. I think we could start here maybe Monday if the forecast can hold good on us here. I think we can go. We just can't get that long enough a window where we can get her done here. So equipment's ready to go. So got everything serviced. So we're waiting here to see what we can do. So feeling good on that. A lot better outlook than last spring. So ground's getting close. Last spring all it did was rain. So that's good. We've been working a lot on our pastures here, fixing a lot of fence. We did some manure building projects, so we had to move some fence around. The grass is green, growing nice. One problem is we got some cold temps here this last week, and I think that really slowed her down. You can see it kind of hurt it, turned a little yellow and stuff, and you can see that a lot of the winter wheat we got around here, and our triticale showing it too. It really turned her yellow. A lot of conventional guys have been top dressing wheat, spreading some fertilizer, so they've been able to go through without really cutting any tracks. So the pastures, we could get cows out, I think, if we can actually get a stretch where we're not getting a rain shower here. Our grounds, we got really heavy ground, so any mudding in the spring, we ruin the grass for the year. So we're really particular about getting cows out too soon. But we've been working on fence, and we're fencing some more, 25 more acres this year, trying to improve our DMI and do better. with grazing. So we've been building some new fence too. So that's our big project right now. We've been working on for the last week here when the weather's fit and it's not too windy and cold. So cows, they've been milking good through the winter. We've been doing real well. 68 pounds of milk, 4 fat, 3.1 protein. Last month we ran out of our good, better hay. We didn't have anything great last year, but now we're down to feeding first cutting that was made in the middle of June, and that's we've been buying bean meal to keep the cows going. So our quota's jumping down here. We get into spring, so I've been backing the protein off to slow them down a little bit. We're hoping to get out pasture here so we can keep them going. So that's we made it till spring, but we need to get out in the field to get the cows out there, because otherwise they're really gonna back off, because our feed quality, we just don't have good feed right now. I got plenty of feed, we just don't have the quality anymore. And so, and then things been kind of crazy around here with COVID going on, COVID-19, and we got a lot of industry around here, a lot of auto industry stuff, and anything that seemed like suppliers or anything. My brother-in-law was laid off. My sister's a nurse at a hospital, and she's laid off because they canceled. She does stuff with surgeries, and they canceled a lot of that. So we're going to take a pretty good economic hit here, I think, in our communities with this. A lot of guys laid off. I know I got family that trying to sell semi-loads of steers, fat cattle to Holsteins to slaughterhouse in Michigan, and they got turned around and sent back, and no answer of when they're going to take them. They were contracted cattle. Guys got hogs contracted, can't get rid of them. I have heard of a little bit of milk dumped around here, but not a lot. I heard Dannon Yogurt's in our hometown, Danone, and they called their farmers and said that for this next week, Walmart didn't need any yogurt or anything. So that was didn't make any sense, but said they were going to lower their milk price. So I know some guys dumped on 2 Sundays ago. There was some milk dumped, but not a lot around here. So things kind of hopefully we can get back a going here, but I think we're going to see a lot of guys laid off here. It's going to take a while to get things moving again. Just the longer it goes, it's going to take longer, so that's not good. But other than that, I mean, we're looking pretty positive here on our farm. I think things, if we can get a good spring in here, that'd really help. But and that's what I got going on here in Ohio. Thanks.
This is Jon Bansen. I'm a dairy pool member from Monmouth, Oregon. We milk 175 Jersey and Jersey crosses, and manage about 600 acres of land total. Currently, we've been having a definite challenging weather year, you might say. Very dry, unusually dry for our state. We're in Oregon, and Oregon on the west side is usually a rather moist place, especially into the springtime. And we've been going through stretches of 4 weeks, 5 weeks without a drop of rain, and it's been cold and frosty in the morning and sunny and blowing in the afternoon. So it's been really drying things out. So we're bracing ourselves for a big drought this year. We'll see how that pans out. Which means currently we are grazing. We're grazing quite well right now. Cows are milking up to their peak of the season right now. The grass is pretty high quality because the cool mornings, it's kept the growth pattern slower, but there's ample feed out there right now. And we're just waiting to see what happens on the other end of this. We've already started baling our first cutting baleage about 2 weeks ahead of schedule. And it's very, very high quality, but low in quantity. The field work other field work will start. We're transitioning. We've been transitioning the last 3 years, a new farm. We finally get to take a crop off in 2 weeks off of that farm. And we've been using cover crops, multi-species cover crops on there for the last 3 years, doing a spring and a summer. Some pieces were left in grass. They're not doing as well as the ones that we've had in multi-species cover crop. So some of it will be put into alfalfa mixed stands, and some will be put back into a summertime cover crop. And I think that's about the extent of what's happening in our part of Oregon.
Has COVID-19 affected you out there?
Oh, the way COVID-19 is really affecting us is probably through the supply chain a little bit. So everything seems to be slowed down a little bit. If we need something, we need to look at ordering it up sooner. Don't delay on things. Seed, a lot of the seed has been tough to get on time. So that's causing a little bit of a hitch in our get along. So I've had to think ahead. Okay, what do we usually get, and we don't order it 5 months in advance? We better start ordering stuff 5 months in advance, so we make sure we can get it when we need it. So there's been that. We're a relatively small operation, so with 2 non-farm employees and 2 non-family farm employees and 5 family employees, and we all kind of work at our own thing. We really don't have an issue with worrying about the spread of it here. There's been some concern about milk truck drivers and those kind of folks who show up on our farm, making sure we clean the handles and things after they've been here, because every now and again one shows up and they're coughing, and that just doesn't fill us full of confidence. So we're having to think about those kind of things. Other than that, farming's usually kind of a program where you're by yourself anyway most of the time, which makes it kind of nice, and that's why most farmers do what they're doing. And we're sitting out here in the countryside, far away from most people. The really only contact are those people driving down your driveway. And for all of those listening to this, remember, don't believe a thing that Sam Dobson says. Okay, I'm done.
Okay. Oh, my God.
Thank you, Mike. My name is Sam Dobson from Statesville, North Carolina, which is the kind of northwestern part of the state, right up next to the Blue Ridge Mountains in the western part. We have a dairy farm, produce milk for Organic Valley, have since about 2014. And we also have a grass-fed beef operation where we produce beef, Angus beef, for a grass-fed market in the southeast. We have had a really, really nice spring this year as far as the weather goes. We were coming out of a really mild winter where we didn't have a lot of cold temperatures. I think we got below 20 degrees twice. And we tried some new varieties of triticale this year that was supposed to not go into winter dormancy and kind of stay growing all winter. And we actually started grazing January the 1st, New Year's Day. And we've been able to graze not every day since. We had some pretty wet days in January and February, but we've always had a little grass as soon as we could get on the ground. We've been grazing, and of course right now we're kind of our peak with our ryegrass, and our small grains are actually heading out. But it hadn't been too fast. Seems like the last few years we went straight from winter to summer and kind of skipped spring. This year's been really nice, and very mild and adequate amount of rain. If anything, been a touch dry, but not bad. And, our cows are out all day right now grazing. We're moving fence as fast as we can and trying to stay ahead of the seed heads. And we still had some frost. Yesterday morning we had a pretty good frost. We were down about 32, 33 degrees. Last weekend we had a little frost. So it's been several years since we've seen frost in the middle of April. And but I kind of like that because it's just keeping things from going too fast, and it's keeping production good. The cows are milking really well; they're in great shape. So no complaints there. Of course, the country's upside down right now with the coronavirus. It's not any type of a news flash for anybody, but I think down here in the South. We definitely have pockets of it in North Carolina. Charlotte, which I'm about 60 miles north of Charlotte. Charlotte's definitely the big area in the state as far as number of cases. We've had just a little bit here in the county I live in, but I mean, it's just been crazy what we're seeing at the marketplace. Of course, we all know commodity boards have just plummeted, and cattle prices and milk prices are going down the tubes, and we just feel very, very fortunate to be in the markets that we're in. It seems like if you go to any of the grocery stores in the area, the Organic Valley products are gone. Our grass-fed beef business, we can't get it on the shelves fast enough, and so that part's been good. I think the key over the next few weeks is just going to be keeping the processing flowing, keeping the processing plants open. That's a legitimate concern. We're seeing parts of the country where, I guess, at those packing houses or even milk processing plants, there's tight quarters, and if you get some of that corona in there, it'll spread pretty fast. So we're seeing the plants take all the precautions they can to keep things going because we're certainly in demand right now, and hopefully we can keep the supply chain moving. A lot of guys down here already planted corn. A lot of years people start towards the end of March. This year, a little bit later, but a lot of corn going in the ground. We have not planted any at our farm yet. We're kind of getting ready to disc our cover crops down, so we'll probably get started here in the next week or two. But we've had a really good crop of baleage. We've made a lot of ryegrass, triticale, crimson clover baleage. We're getting pretty good yields there. So, wheat crop looks like it's going to be good, barring another freeze here in a week or two. I think should be a good wheat crop. Barley looks good. So far so good. We're having a good spring. I kind of curious to see. I mean, we're always worried about a hot, dry summer down here in the South, of course, and we had one of those. The second half after July 4th last year got really dry. We had about 9 straight weeks with no rain, and over 100 days last summer with high temperatures over 90 degrees, and not the ideal weather for dairying. And so maybe we'll get a little milder and a little more rainfall than last year, but not much we can do about it, whether it will or won't. So we'll just take the hand of cards we're dealt and go on with it. The other dairies down here, the other producers, everybody seems to be in the same boat. They're taking advantage of the grazing right now. It's definitely spring flush here in the South. Peak milk, probably another 2 weeks of that, and then we'll start seeing some things probably start declining a little bit. But everybody seems to be on the same page and taking advantage of good weather. So that's pretty much the report from the South, and look forward to hearing how things are going in other parts of the country.
All right. Well, I'm John Ine from Lancaster, Wisconsin. I farm here with my wife, Deb, and our 6 kids, and my mom and dad, Raymond and Sherry Ine. We run about 900 acres, 400 tillable, and the rest in pasture. We milk 100 cows, and we run about 3,500 laying hens, all for Organic Valley. I'm part of the, I guess, milk pool, egg pool, beef pool, and grower pool. It's been a good start to the spring. We got, the weather's been, a lot better than last year. Winter was fairly well. We had quite a bit of snow, but I don't mind snow. It helps protect my alfalfa. And, it's been pretty nice, but not very warm as of right now. But we just got done having a week of 40s for a high and 20s for lows, which isn't great for growing, but it's a beats to last year where we had rain every other day. I think last year we had 38 inches of rain for the year, and the average is like 22. So yeah, this year it's kind of dragging on the cold weather, but we'll get through it. And we got in the fields a week ago and got all my alfalfa interseeded with my winter wheat and rye. And I just started planting oats today. Got about 30 acres out of the 110 acres that I'll be putting in done. And we've had, so far this spring, we've had about a inch and a half, I think, from the March 1st through today. Right now, I think we're going on our 6th day without rain, which is probably the longest period we've had without rain since 18. Last year was unbelievable. We haven't started grazing yet. Not enough grass. It's greening up. And so the grass is starting to come, but with this colder weather, it kind of went to a halt. I'm hoping, my goal is about Mother's Day to start grazing. We should have warm enough weather where when we let the cows out, it'll just keep rolling. If I go too soon, they eat it all off, and then it stunts it for later on in the year. But cows, they're milking pretty good through the winter. We're averaging, between 50 and 55 pounds a cow. Our herd average is about 17,000. Once we get on grass, hopefully that comes up. But trying to stay under quota, we're not pushing them too hard. And as far as crops and grains and stuff around here, with the whole COVID-19 going on, grain prices have really taken a dump. This winter I live right next to a hay auction place, and conventionally they were selling hay from about $180 a ton to $300 a ton. And I think right now, this last week, it was 120 to 210 a bale, or a ton, I mean. And I just looked up grain prices today. Local grain is $2.98 for corn, and beans were $8. So that's way under what it was last year. And the cheese market doesn't sound a whole lot better. I think they're talking $1.15 cheese, blocks of cheese, and milk $12 to $14, depending on which month you're looking at. We had a couple of big farms in the area that, they were dumping 2 semi-loads a day here for a while. And I've heard other ones in the state of Wisconsin that have had to dump it. And then you go to the grocery store and they're limiting 1 or 2 gallons per person. So it's kind of frustrating, but, I'm sure thankful that we're with Organic Valley, and hopefully things turn around. Sounds good on our end anyway. So that is all.